Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome you to the 15th episode of our Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Let's Play, where we've just arrived on Yanis, we've got a bit of a briefing, and we're now going to hopefully take care of the rebellion as quickly as possible, so that Yanis can resume the provision of, well, provisions to the rest of our trade empire. Before we get into all that though, folks, I just want to very quickly mention, yes, this is episode 15, which is a pretty big milestone when you consider this is an alpha build especially. And I just want to take that opportunity to mention really quickly, folks, if you've been enjoying this series, if you would like to see it continue, please don't hesitate to keep leaving those likes and comments down below. They've been very encouraging so far. It's great to see so much interest in this alpha build early access gameplay, so thank you very much for that. And beyond that as well, folks, if you've been really enjoying this series, I humbly request that you perhaps consider becoming a channel member or patron. Links to both of those are in the description down below, or perhaps you consider leaving a super thanks, which can be done using the little heart-shaped button that is right below the video, right next to the join button as well. Again, there's never any pressure or obligation or anything like that. That's why I try not to mention it too often, but they are great ways to just support the channel and support series that you've been enjoying and, you know, keep things, as I like to say, alive and running smoothly. The other thing that keeps things alive and running smoothly is actually upgrading your characters when they've accumulated enough experience points. So why don't we go ahead and do exactly that, starting with the Rogue Trader here. We are able to, as a strategist now, invest in a characteristic, and here again we'll be spending some XP to get +5 to any one of these options over here. I think... oh, this is tempting. See, willpower is very close to getting up to 60, which would give us a willpower bonus of 6, so it's not an insignificant jump. With Fellowship, if we get +5 right now, it'll just take us up to 55, which, yeah, has a 5% higher chance of succeeding certain roles, but not much else. However, if we have the option to get another characteristic bump sometime in the relatively near future, oh god, that's a long way away, then, I was going to say, we could get Fellowship up to 60 at that point in time, and when we use Bring It Down, again, remember, that is the Fellowship bonus divided by 2 as the number of action points that the character gives to their targeted ally. So 60 by 2 is 3, whereas 5 by 2 is 2.5, and it always gets rounded down to 2, right? So that's significant. I mean, why don't we work towards that anyway and bump up our Fellowship and see an improvement to our coercion, our commerce, to our persuasion as well? I think it makes the most sense, especially given the conversation we just navigated, I suppose. So sure, we'll bump our Fellowship up anyway, but I did want to point out that there's a reason why we're, I guess, ignoring the upgrade to willpower and that, you know, 6 willpower bonus that is just out of reach. But yeah, let's go ahead and bump up our Fellowship. That sounds good to me. It'll bump all these guys up as well. And like I said, eventually we'll be able to get it up to 60 and get that Fellowship bonus of 6. So let's accept that. We're at 55 now. Yeah, good stuff. Over to Abelard. Let's go ahead and take a look at your options as a veteran. We're going to get a characteristic buff over here. Again, his weapon skill is his strength, eh? He really should be used in melee more than from range, I suppose, but his weapons from range are so much more efficient. Like the spray they have, like the spread they have is absolutely massive. So I feel like it's better to just improve his chances of actually striking with those ranged weapons as opposed to you know, melee weapons that he uses so rarely. I don't know how I feel about him, to be perfectly honest right now. I don't know how I feel about him, but sure, why don't we go ahead and chase ballistic skill, get that up to 40, get his ballistic skill bonus up to 4. Not that the ballistic skill bonus is used for much, if memory serves me correctly, but hey, maybe down the line, we'll try and keep weapon skill and ballistic skill even on him. As with Idira over here, as the assassin, we're going to have the option of an additional talent. Now, with Idira, we're probably going to chase after Solid Projectile Weapon Expert, because the weapon she's using right now, if memory serves me correctly, is a solid projectile weapon. It is a sniper rifle. It should say over here, yes, top right corner of the pop-up, solid, that's solid projectile, which means that if we get her this talent, Solid Projectile Weapon Expert, it'll cause an additional 2 damage. So, that's not too bad. Well, minimal damage of all attacks with solid projectile weapons is increased by 2. So, on the low end of things, we're going to see an improvement. The other options are all right, I suppose. She has some options because she's a Psyker as well, Focused Mind and Favored by the Warp, but nothing else really calls to me. Righteous Mark is an interesting use of Extermination Mark blended with Righteous Fury. Lone Wolf is helpful if she stands on her own, but we very rarely find her so very isolated. So I've done my due diligence looking around, and I do think the logical next step is actually Solid Projectile Weapon Expert here. So let's go ahead and accept that selection. Let's take a look at, well, accepting this first of all, and let's move on to Argenta, who as a veteran will be able to invest in her ballistic skill. Again, she uses ranged weapons primarily, so bumping this up to 50 makes the most sense. Let's get that done. Excellent. Meanwhile, we have Cassia over here, who can finally, as a strategist, invest in her fellowship to get it up to 40, getting our fellowship bonus here to 4, and now when she tells somebody to bring it down, it'll give 2 action points as opposed to the 1 we've been seeing for so long, which, as we've seen time and time again, makes a huge difference because, you know, 2 AP allows for some of those bigger attacks, whereas 1 AP only allows for single shots, etc., etc. So sure, let's accept that. I think that was quite urgent, and I'm glad to finally have that. Whereas with Pascal over here, we're going to see shift to, again, he's an assassin too, but here I suppose we could get Combat Master, and maybe I should really send him into melee more often. I mean, the thing is that at the end of the day, we use all these guys from range so much more because it just does so much more. Plasma Weapons Expert might be the actual right idea here. Maximal damage of all attacks with plasma weapons is increased by 2. Again, just increasing that spread, and on the high end, we can cause potentially that much more damage. Combat Master, basically, whenever somebody is outnumbered, their enemies get bonuses to hit them. So if we were outnumbering an enemy, we would have bonuses to hit them. If an enemy is outnumbering one of our characters, those enemies would all have bonus to hit our character. We rarely find ourselves in that position. So as much as I was actually saying Combat Master is the is maybe the pick, I think it should be Plasma Weapons Expert, just to double check because I like to be 100% sure. We're going to take a look at Pascal's weapon. Yes, it is in fact the plasma gun. I don't know why I get so nervous about that. I know it by heart by now, but still, better safe than sorry, as they say. Plasma Weapon Expert for Pascal. Let's get her done. Accept and accept. And that's all the upgrading out of the way. Cool. Getting more and more efficient with that as time moves on, obviously, because we're getting more and more familiar with exactly how these characters are going to develop. Our job here now is to investigate the rebellion, as I was saying earlier. Gather more information about the rebels, and find leads to track down the rebel leaders. It sounds like speaking to some of the servants around the palace is going to be very helpful. It sounds like we can seek out witnesses to the assassination attempt, and they might have some information as well. So we'll see exactly what we can gather. And separately as well, there was the conversation about where is that that individual who's been helping on Yanis, the mutant assassin, I suppose, sharpshooter. Why can't I? Demiurge? No. Hunger's Hand? No. Reclaim what was lost. Where are you? Suggested starting the search. Was he assassinated? Maybe. Nope. Additional information. Oh, okay. Nope. I remember seeing it somewhere. Anyway, there is. There we go. It's an errand. The governor's aide. Talk to Elite, the mysterious mutant on Yanis who volunteered to help in the struggle against the rebels. She should be somewhere on Governor Yat's estate. Now, we'll speak to her well enough, but I don't know if we'll bring her onto our party. It seems as though she's a potential party member, but hey, that decision is for somewhere in the near future. For now, let's go ahead and see if these servants actually have anything to say, or if these guys are just kind of generic. Yeah, okay, as I thought. Up over here, how about some of these estate enforcers? Do they have anything to add to the conversation? The estate is under control. You are completely safe, your lordship. Listen, I'll be the judge of that. Nothing to do over here, I don't think. Yeah, let's just head on out to Greater Yanis, I suppose, and see exactly what's going on out there. Anybody else to speak to? Ooh, Yanis nobles. Yes, I think we can try talking to them. Nope, nothing worthwhile. And there's a set of stairs up over here. Hang on now. Maybe there's more to explore. Nope, just a dead end. And a painting? Oh, that's a pretty cool painting. I love Warhammer art, fantasy or 40K. I love Warhammer art. The concept art and stuff is so cool. What's up over here? Anything worth checking up over here? Again, you never know when a perception roll is going to happen and you find something interesting, right? Or when you see some really cool art just littered about. That's just cool. All right, out to actual Yanis proper to see what's going on. Or I suppose first we go to the estate and then to Yanis proper. But nonetheless, let's explore the planet and see what we can do about this rebellion. Alright. That makes me nervous. First thing we see is an estate enforcer running from one end of the screen to the other. That makes me extremely nervous. Let's go ahead and see what... Did you just come back? Oh, okay. Off he goes. That salute, by the way, was the Aquila. You may have seen it mentioned before that there's the Aquila salute. And that's what that was. It's kind of cool that they have that as a touch there. What is this? A commerce check. Go for it. Looks like we succeeded. The governor's palace is opulent. The gilt finishes and plaster are updated regularly and frequently. It seems too frequently, even for a building... What? Situated on the coast. Okay, cool. I hate how quickly this disappears. They gotta figure out the timing on that stuff. Now let's make sure we don't miss anything over here. Lots of servants. We got a servitor up over here. Let's see if these exterior servants have anything to say. How may I serve you? Was he brandishing a knife? He was holding something and it looked oddly like a knife. I don't like how sarcastic their subservience feels. Makes me nervous. And I guess that estate enforcer was just kind of going back and forth. Old servant. This guy stands out. What do you have to say, buddy? We don't know yet, but he's got something to say. Hearing your footsteps, the elderly servant grabs an injector and stabs it into his arm. The area around the needle immediately starts turning black. You're too late, Viet's dogs. I'm the master of my own fate. But when he gets a better look at you, the man drops the injector in astonishment and seems poised to prostrate himself on the floor before you. It's you! Your lordship! The God Emperor must have brought you here. I beg you, help the rebels and save Yanis. Alright, what's going on? He doubles up, hugging himself, and is racked by coughing that leaves his lips wet with blood. Forgive me, your lordship. If only I'd known it was you. My eyes deceived me. We have little time now, but I swear I'll tell you everything. Looking closely at the old man, the tech priest utters, nerve toxin. The inevitable cessation of vital functions is expected in no less than 60 seconds. Silent clicks emitted by the visor indicate an ongoing PICT recording. Say whatever it is you want to say and be quick about it. You helped the rebels gain access to the estate. What did you inject yourself with? Or death to traitors of the Imperium. We'll gather our information first, and then we'll perform our execution. Look, I gotta know what's happening here. If there's a rebellion, then it's a potential sign of bigger problems, right? And if our governor is the problem, then I need to know so I can get rid of her, right? Just because she's in a position of power. Now, granted, I am biased towards her. I'm going to give her preferential treatment, and I'm going to believe her over some lowly servant because of our past, but that doesn't mean I'm unwilling to have my opinion changed or to have my perspective more, filled out. You know what I mean? Information is power. So, say whatever it is you want to say, and be quick about it. In the name of the Golden Throne, your lordship, show mercy on the humble workers, the salt of Yanis. Save them. Vistenza Viet, the untouchable governor and leader of the nobility, is creating something monstrous behind closed doors. She uses the Imperium's interests as a smokescreen and purports to be a scholar. But her actions are poisoning our planet. Did you know that the settlement that failed... Oh, settlements, sorry. Did you know that the settlements that fail to pay their due tithes on time have been allowed to pay with people instead? They even deliver them to order. Sometimes old folks, sometimes children. He lowers his voice to a whisper and leans towards you. I've seen those people. I've seen them being delivered to the estate, and then they're never seen or heard from again. They go into the secret rooms and they don't come out again, your lordship. Ever. Fresh meat to entertain the nobility. Some things never change, whether you're on my planet or anywhere in the righteous Imperium. The old servant lets out a moan. The dark stain on his arm seems to creep through his veins until his arms and neck are a latticework of black. The servant's breath quickens and becomes irregular. Okay, you accuse the governor with only conjecture and rumor to back up your words. How dare you? No, this is something that's worth investigating. I mean, sure, we might still execute him, but if there is heresy afoot at such a high level, it's still heresy. We could ask about what secret rooms, we could say what else is going on in the settlements, or we can say he can still be saved. Can he still be saved? God, if he has more information to give us, then maybe we should try and keep him alive so we can get everything there is to get out of him. I imagine, if this is anything like what I would expect from my tabletop experience, I imagine we'd be able to try a Medicaid check. I mean, we literally have Pascal with us, who's, you know, he's got all the tools and stuff he needs. He was able to identify the toxin. Maybe he can do something. You can still be saved. No, don't waste your time on somebody who's as good as dead already. I'll depart this world happily knowing that I'm free from the clutches of that monster sitting on the governor's throne. Someone to be saved. You accuse the rogue trader's appointed governor of heresy. If your words are false, they themselves are tantamount to heresy. But if what you say is true, if it's true, then your sacrifice will be to your credit, my good man. Argenta utters these last words with impassioned conviction. I swear I'm not lying. Pray for me, holy sister. For me, and for Yanis. The servant shakes and coughs violently. I'm not sure I'll last long enough to answer all your questions. Alright, fine. What secret rooms? Hidden chambers deep within the palace. I've never been inside, thankfully. The servants who are allowed in, the ones the governor trusts, they change. She changes them, pretties them up, defiles them. The old man starts to convulse, indicating that he is close to death. He raises his already unseeing eyes to you. Your lordship, if you'll permit a dying man to make one last request, don't tell anyone that I was the one who unlocked the doors. If you do, they'll go after my family, my home. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Dude's about to die. You know what? This is a major revelation. This is a major revelation, and if he's right, then well, Argenta said it best, right? I do still have questions to ask, but perhaps we should let this man die in peace. If it turns out he's lying to us, then we will have still been the bigger man, right? We will have still been the bigger man. I will keep your secret. Please, save us. Save Yanis. The servant rasps violently and collapses on his side, racked with convulsions. Well, that was certainly a development. We can't even see his body, the poor man. That was certainly a development. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that that sounds like a Slaaneshi cult. Pretties them up. I forget what the other word he used was right now. We can scroll up and find it, I suppose. She changes them, pretties them up, defiles them. Defiles them? Look, that sounds awfully Slaaneshi. She's also very, like, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, overdone. Even talking about the paintings and stuff, she's very opulent, which, of course, we can expect from high class and high nobility and all that in this universe. But all that on top of what's being said there in that conversation, cause for some concern. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but I definitely think there's some investigating that needs doing. Let's see if the servitor has anything to share with us. Nope, of course not. I don't know why I even tried, but let's keep peeking around over here. Another Yanis noble over here. I assume you're useless. Indeed you are. House Grantis has never inspired respect or trust, nor that it was they who brought the treacherous servants into the estate. Sure, believe what you wish to believe. I'm concerned that there is heresy afoot. Really concerned. It's kind of funny as well, since we dealt with Slaaneshi demonettes on our way here, if you'll remember, right? So that's interesting as well. Don't think they're tied, but it is quite the coincidence, as we have quite a few more servants and nobles to speak to over here. Nope. Nothing important over here. We'll go up there afterwards. Let's continue exploring these nooks and crannies on this side first. A lot of servitors. And who is this Vinzelex? Named character. We'll surely have a conversation, of course. Draped in a red cloak, the Magos' body barely looks human. Wires, tubes, and metal manipulators turn him into a whimsical machine, while implants hide his face behind a sinister mask. The tech priest intermittently dictates something in technolingua to the servo skull floating next to him, but at your approach he falls silent and offers a reserved bow. Greetings, your lordship. Lex Mechanic Vinzelex, how may I serve you? Technolingua, is that the new term for it, or has that always been like a more respectful term for binary? Because I assume technolingua means binary if he's just chattering away to a servo skull. And I'm not being condescending or whatever you want to call it. Binary chatter is what tech priests and machine spirits and stuff communicate in. But maybe the latest edition changed the terminology. I don't know. If you know better, then feel free to inform me. But that took me by surprise. I like it. Pascal and the Lex Mechanic exchange trills of binary greetings. The series of sounds issued by Vinzelex sounds much longer and more deferential than those of Pascal. Pascal, some insight, please. How many servants of the Adeptus Mechanicus are there on the planet? According to the data stored in my cogitator, all infrastructure nodes for food harvesting and processing have their own contingent of technomats. The total number amount to 253. Correction. Based on the latest data, the figure is 211 units. Excuse me. That's a huge discrepancy. And I want to know what those missing technomats are about. Nonetheless, what do you do here on Yanis? The tech priest's mechanical voice comes from the speaker on his neck. By the order of the Adeptus Mechanicus, I have been entrusted with the management of the Adeptus Administratum in order to catalog agronomic data and analyze information about the planet during the process of subjugating it to the will of the Imperium. Be blessed, Tech Brother. Your diligence and the diligence of those like you turn anarchy into order and bestows classification to knowledge. One of Pascal's mechadendrites lightly touches the Lex Mechanic's body. The tech priest bows respectfully in return, clearly a little startled. Yeah, that sounds kind of problematic, I'm going to be honest with you. Don't just touch somebody you just met randomly like that. What the hell, man? Pascal, chill, bro. Tell me about Yanis. Initializing report. The planet's soil possesses a unique composition suitable for the re-engineering of the planet and the mass production of foodstuffs. Significant cultivation of the Eastern Hemisphere with the aim of improving production processes and logistics operation. Traces of xenoactivity that do not pose an immediate threat to ongoing operations. Undesirable pathologies of flora and fauna have been noted, which may pose a threat in the short term. Sorry? What pathologies in the flora and fauna? Genetic and chemical pathologies, Your Lordship. Harmless species mutate and become aggressive, while plants change their chemical composition and become poisonous. This is happening more and more often, and if you do not take action, the ecosystem of the world will be irreparably disrupted. Ah, god damn it. I just got a side quest piled on me by surprise. I like it, though. That's an interesting responsibility. The changes may be artificial. Has the possibility been considered that someone is manipulating the ecosystem to reduce our living space? That's what my mind went to at first as well. Like, is this connected to what we just learned about the governor potentially doing behind closed doors? Not at all, Venerable Megos. Our brothers from the Megos Biologists, are humble workers, not warriors. They could not have come up with the thought of such a militant nature. The mind must be open to all forms of knowledge. I order you to commence a check. In the event your account of the indolence of their minds is confirmed, I'll petition for the appropriate penance. Jeez, this. Alright, how is the governor dealing with undesirable pathologies? I have analyzed the genome of the affected species, and I am currently developing suppressor genes to make the planet's organisms resistant to pathology, but so far, I have not been able to solve the problem. Further exploration of the planet would perhaps speed up these processes, but the administrative apparatus has imposed a ban on expeditions that are not directly aimed at improving production. Not entirely a suspicious decision from the governor, but potentially questionable. And what are these traces of xenoactivity? According to data obtained during initial scans, ruined structures of non-human origin were noted in different sectors of the planet, but I did not have the administrative capacity to study them in more detail. For now, I must defer the quest for knowledge. Okay. The Lex Mechanic speaks the last words with distinct envy, his eyes fixed on Magos Hanuman? Is Hanuman like the monkey god from like Hindu scripture, Hanuman? That's the only way I can read that. Hanuman, maybe. Let's talk about something else. I am listening. Well, there's nothing more to listen to. We'll speak later. As you wish. Interesting. Interesting. Now, where is this person that they were jealously staring at? I don't see them anywhere here. Servitors, servitors, servitors. Some goods. Make sure we don't skip out on these. Tech use, please succeed. Come on. Yes, thank you very much. We got a medikit here. Let's go ahead and pick that up. We've got some fire grenades as well. Let's grab you. And these common items can be packed as cargo. Good stuff. Cool. Nice to see the tech use success there, considering we invested in Pascal's intelligence earlier, right? And that, again, helps bump up his tech use skill. Always nice when the dice rolls start going in your favor, primarily because you invested in making the odds more favorable in the first place. Nonetheless, we're all done here. No more suspicious characters in that corner, it seems. There's Elite. Alright, well, we'll speak to them in a moment. Just want to see what else there is to look at, because there is some stuff to look at here. Let's go, let's go. Very opulent. Very, very questionable tastes here. Not actually. Oh, but let's see what this is. The ivy covering the archway gives off a delicate, heady fragrance, although you do not see any flowers. Alright. Why does that feel suspicious? Everything feels suspicious after the revelation. What do we have over here? This little space here. An otherworldly silence reigns under the arches of the gazebo. Perhaps a sound barrier generator is mounted in the dome. Can we go inside? No. A good spot for private conversations, though. Let's see what Elite here has to say. And hopefully we don't have to bring her into our party. Maybe temporarily, but I don't know how I feel about working with mutants. We'll see. Maybe. We are already working, yes, with Cassia, but that's a little different because she's our navigator, right? But we'll see what Elite here has to say. The bizarre creature before you only vaguely resembles a typical human. An elongated body, slender limbs, pointed features, every aspect of its appearance is unnatural and alien. The creature turns its head to you and speaks in a melodic voice with the barest hint of a drawl. Elite Lanavis greets you, Elantak. You're not a mutant. Elite stares at you with her strange eyes, wearing an expression that is remarkably difficult to interpret. At last she arches one eyebrow, and so subtly you almost miss it. I have met those like you before. Life has led you on a path, granting you knowledge that surpasses the limits of the quotidian existence of your kind. That's the thing. See, I saw her, I read that description, and I'm like, between the name, her overall shape, and look, and the weapon she's wielding as well, I didn't think she was a human mutant either. And now this feels like confirmation. In truth, the blood in my veins and the matter of my soul are foreign to yours. I am of that kind that your fellows call Xenos. I came here to your kind to bring peace to the Lilithan and aid the ruler against her enemies. Will you speak with me as with an equal, or will you step under the shadow of Kella Mensha Kane? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are we going to converse with Xenos? Rogue Trader Von Valancius will never speak to vermin such as Xenos as if they were equal. So if you want to live, you will address me with proper respect. Okay, seems like a decent middle ground between get out of my sight and being overly polite. I will speak with you, Elite Lanavis, but keep your hands where I can see them. To be honest, the only part I understood was that you have no desire to fight. That is one thing we have in common, or I don't converse with the enemies of humanity. I think the choice here is obvious, folks. I think the choice here is obvious. I don't converse with the enemies of humanity. Oh, she's just gonna disappear on us? Damn it. I had a feeling that they'd find a way to keep her alive, obviously, despite my upper hand there in terms of numbers and the element of surprise. The conversation option said attack, but didn't really work out, did it? Oh. Hello, you're still in the area? Still hiding from me? I'll find you. I will find you. And honestly, this is... Look, that governor has gone from being favored to very much not. Extremely quickly. First, there are suspicions that she's up to some heretical nonsense. Then there's proof that she is up to some heretical nonsense. She is consorting with the enemy. As far as I'm concerned, she's willing to work with Xenos scum. And I know many good men and women who died protecting the Imperium from such dangers. And she so blatantly, you know, sets those sacrifices aside. That is inexcusable behavior. Inexcusable behavior. The fact that she put me in a position to speak to Xenos scum like that. My goodness. An assassination attempt at the governor's own estate, and on the day of the Rogue Trader's visit, no less. So much drama, so much drama. These Yanis nobles have nothing to do but gossip, I suppose. Attilius Quint. Yet another named character, yet another conversation, I would assume. What do you have to say, good man? The stooped man wearing a cloak of the Adeptus Administratum is reviewing information on a data slate while his quietly whirring mechanical arms fill a long scroll with writing. Upon noticing you, the man stretches his thin lips into a smile and deferentially bows. The light in the eyes of the servo skull hovering over his right shoulder gently pulsate. Your lordship, what an honor it is to address you in person. Allow me to introduce myself, Attilius Quint, Prefectus of the Officio Agricultae. I'll preserve the record of our conversation forever. This is what they do. I uncover the servant who betrayed the governor. Here is a place where you will find his body. No. Because if they're able to identify who he is based on the remnants, then his family might be in danger. First, we need to see if there was any merit to those accusations. If yes or no, we'll make a decision accordingly. What record of our conversation? Oh, come on. He's a member of the administratum. That's not a surprise. What do you think of Vistenza Viat? What do you have to say about the governor's helper? I just had that conversation, so this is probably top of mind. What do you have to say about the governor's helper, Elite? To be honest, your lordship, I find her presence most distressing. Of course, I would never gainsay the wisdom of the governor. Who, if not she, could perceive the true worth of a person, even if that person is a mutant? How imperceptive of you, you fool. Moreover, Elite's particular abilities could be an interesting subject of study for the Magos Biologists. The elongated head shape, those eyes, judging by the skull that was given to me to send onto Footfall, such developmental anomalies on Yanis are not a quirk of nature, but some kind of inheritable trait. Dude, there's another species living on this planet, clearly. Come on. Oh my god, come on. Now, what skull are you talking about, though? I don't remember hearing anything about this. A most remarkable item, I must say. A true anomaly. One moment. After rummaging in a nearby container, Attilius draws out a scroll which he immediately unfurls. Look here. I believe the finished piece was intended to be given as a gift to the governor, but under the current circumstances, I doubt I'll be able to send it to Footfall anytime soon. The tech priest's mechadendrites reach towards Attilius with interest, seeming to unnerve him a little. Safety and equipment on a decent level. It's a pity he is empty inside. He could have become a proper servo skull herald for the rogue trader. Unorthodox. I could smash the skull. Repulsive barbarism. No, Pascal seems to be okay with its existence. I defer to him. I could have it removed from my sight, or a curiosity like this would look very nice on my desk. This is the skull of an alien menace. I very much would like it on my desk. I mean, yes, of course, undoubtedly. Whatever you wish, your lordship. If that will raise your spirits after the recent incident. Yes, I'll take that strange skull, thank you very much. What do you think of Vistenza Viat? The governor is a superb leader. She possesses an excellent grasp of all matters and never uses an incorrect form of any given situation. I do not pry into her personal affairs, but if I may speak plainly, a lady who fills out paperwork with such finesse cannot be a bad person, in my view. Oh my god, the obsession with paperwork. This is what the administratum does. They're all pencil pushers, and they care about records and record keeping and writing everything down, and yeah, this is them to a T. Tell me about Yanis. What is happening on the planet? I want everyone's perspective here now. Alas, your lordship, rebellions have caused us too many problems in recent times. The rebels are interfering with established processes, interrupting supplies, sabotaging the serfs' work. Few nobles have even been killed, and worst of all, some of the victims occupied important administrative posts. Until their replacements pass their checks, complete all their induction forms, and go through the official appointment procedure, important paperwork is going unsigned. It's a bureaucratic catastrophe. Oh, okay, you know what? This is just simply not localized. I was like, oh, what's going on? Is he possessed? It's a heresy. It's heresy. No, it's just Russian. It's just Russian is what it is. I wonder if, moment of truth here for Google Lens. Can you know what? This is pretty good. So he's saying, if this continues, I have no idea what it could lead to. There are worlds that have been at war for generations. Generations, your grace. Like that crazy planet near the nameless star not far from our peaceful system. They say the rogue trader Winterscale patronizes the townspeople there. It's scary to think what he's done there. Well, that's a curious thing to mention, seemingly out of nowhere. So does he feel like Winterscale is involved in this, in feeding the rebellions and their targets? I don't know, but I gotta say, that was really impressive. Just used Google Lens to translate that Cyrillic for me, and you know what? Those were actual, complete sentences that made sense. My mind is kind of blown. Technology is wild, man. Technology is absolutely wild. But look, I want to know the details. Where have the rebels struck, and how? Of course. I would be delighted to furnish you with all the information I have. In the last few months, 15 organized attacks and 7 terrorist attacks have been perpetrated. Irrigation equipment has been sabotaged in agrarian sectors 3 to 5, transport routes 27, 413, and also, I suppose this will not tell you much. Please. With a fussy gesture, he presses several buttons on his data slate screen, and a 3-dimensional map with coordinates of the attacks appears on your cogitator. Ooh, we passed a logic check here. The data is superbly collated, and the map clearly displays the actions of the rebels. At first glance, there seems to be no logic to their campaign, but after analyzing the data and the features of the terrain, you notice a clear system indicating a geographical pattern to their attacks. Nice. I like when non-combat stat checks and skill checks work out and are actually like implemented, because so many like GMs and DMs and even cRPGs in general fail to use these additional elements properly. This is nice. So clearly there's a pattern here, but we can't seem to direct his attention to it. Well, who is directing the rebels? Does anyone know? The rebels are well armed and well trained. What's more, the governor's advisors are inclined to think that the instigators of the rebellions are very familiar with the planet's terrain and climate. My ordinates are going through registration records day and night, looking for individuals who have completed military training, but we have so far been unable to identify the scoundrel. Alright, and what are you doing to combat the rebels? Our security services are tracking those who support the rebels, and our regular guards are wiping out those saboteurs without the slightest mercy, but they keep on appearing. My scribes have been run off their feet, keeping records of all the public hearings and executions, but I'm confident that the governor will find a solution soon. Well, that's enough for now, Attilius Quint. Of course, your lordship. And what do you know about the attack on the estate? A disgraceful incident, simply disgraceful. I cannot believe those scoundrels would dare to come so close, and to drag the nobility into this as well. If they penetrated the estate, that means they had help from some worthless servant or other. Security is currently questioning the survivors, but the culprit has not been found. Yet. Attilius Quint smiles unpleasantly. Most unpleasantly. What are your duties here? By the grace of the God Emperor, I oversee the administrative apparatus on the planet and serve as secretary. I'm also responsible for the logistics related to supplying the planets of the Von Valancius dynasty and the timely payment of tithes to the Imperium's official collectors. So an important role then. Speaking of the Von Valancius dynasty, when were the last shipments sent? Oh, your lordship, our supply shipments are all in order. All foodstuffs and other items are ready for export and are simply awaiting the arrival of the transport ships. However, given the current circumstances on the planet, Yanis could not provide even one tranche more than what is already prepared. I am certain the situation will be rectified in the near future. Well, when did the collector ships last come to Yanis? Oh, your lordship, I must confess that as yet I have not had the pleasure of filling out a sacred tithe protocol form, as the last imperial ships to come here did so under my predecessor. Come to think of it, that would have been several decades ago. I do hope the logisticians responsible for such an unforgivable oversight lose their heads over this. Well, they haven't been paying their tithe for decades now. How inefficient or questionable, I'm not yet sure. That's enough on this topic, though. I have to go. I don't need to tell him about the servant, and it's fine. He's making a record of this conversation. That's fine. I have to go. I look forward to meeting you again, your lordship, he says. Off we go. To what? Lots of servants over here? What is this? Another commerce check. More investigation into the opulence of this estate. The fountain is an expensive toy for the nobility. Pure water is currently bubbling from it, but additional pipes on it indicate the presence of separate siphons for sparkling wine and other beverages. My goodness, ridiculous opulence. I saw Cassia succeeded in an awareness check. I wish I could tell what she actually saw. I'm going to assume the fountain, because I can't find anything else. Ooh, tell me about it. She gives me the creeps. She's terrifying to look at. She talks funny, and she knows her way around a gun. Come to think of it, I've never seen that kind of weapon before. I wonder where she got it. They're talking about your elite, obviously. She's an alien. These idiots. These idiots. No one else to speak to down over here. Oh, this is a huge area, isn't it? This is a huge area. We're right next to something. Oh, yeah, I think I see it. These goods over here. Got some bottles of Amasec and some collections of poems, pack as cargo. And there's something to investigate over here as well. The Medicaid check, so maybe some chains or ropes with shackles on the end can be seen in the water. Something white is also visible. Oh, come on. Is also visible through the glimmer. A fragment of bone with marks made by sharp teeth. Can we investigate? I love how there's just this beachside, like, seating area. Oh, hello. That we all came down over here. Abelard's awareness check presented us with these goods. What do we have here? Another signet ring. Grants +5 to persuasion tests. Oh, so it's the exact same thing. We just acquired it at a different place. All right, we'll collect it. Signet rings are cargo. Take a look at our inventory really quickly. Do we have one on? We do indeed. Wait, hold on. Can we put 2 on? Oh, we can. Look at that. Double signet rings. +10 to persuasion checks then, I assume. Let's just take a look over here. Yeah, I guess so. That's funny. That's funny. We are a very persuasive individual. 85 persuade. That's not bad. That is not bad. Up we go, up we go. And I suppose... Oh, there's something to explore up over here. Like I said, this place is huge. This looks like a... Not a chapel, a shrine, I suppose. Let's see what's going on. The chapel, oh, I guess it is a chapel, is built out of luxurious materials, but the holy place looks half abandoned. You cannot smell any incense in the air, you see no seals of cleansing on the doors, and you hear no prayers, no human voices or vox recordings. That's concerning. Have they forsaken the Emperor on this planet? What's this now? The place seems like it was recently disturbed. Dust has been swept from stones. Sorry, dust has been swept from the stones. There is some unidentifiable dirt between the cracks, and you notice several thin scratches on the surface. Cool, okay. Someone's been up here. Is this where she was camped out to snipe from? No, no, this is too far away. It's gotta be too far away. Seemed like a potential reason for the disturbance up over there. These guys have nothing to say. Nope, nope, nope. Let's make our way down to the other pile of goods that are like across the way up over there. See if they're worth anything. But lots of interesting stuff going down over here. Oh, you know what? Maybe that is where she was standing. That's just a way out. If we get all the way back over here... Dang, was she really firing from all the way back over here? That is impressive. I think so. I guess that's what we saw. Nonetheless, where is the loot up over here? Servitors, engines... Okay, just blessing the ship. I was like, what are you doing? He's just helping us out. Got all these corpses over here, some goods up over here. Okay, well, let's take a look at the goods first, and then the corpses after. These are just dried berries, pack as cargo. I can't. Are we topped up on cargo? That's funny. What do we have here? Just stepping on bodies. The deceased's arms and faces are covered in small boils that ooze cloudy pus even after death. So we're that just says Nurgle, I suppose, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess Nurgle could apply as well. Nurgle is very popular. Also, like, defile, depending on what kind of defiling we were talking about earlier with the governor. It could be Nurgle, it could be Slaanesh, I suppose. Let's come down to here. There might be something to explore over here. And then we'll make our way up. Hello. What's this? Sealed containers marked with the familiar insignia of the Munitorium and additional seals of a forge world unknown to you. The crates contain high-grade weapons, likely made to order. What is going on here? What is going on here? Autoguns. Ooh, I do like autoguns. 6 to 9 damage, 1 pen, eh? Not that much. Just a bunch of autoguns, and this is a hot-shot las gun. Nice. 8 to 10 damage, 5 penetration. Rate of fire is 4. Range is 8. That's not bad. Got the burst fire option as well. It's actually not bad. Hot shot las gun. So a hot shot is a kind of charge pack. Las guns use batteries to generate their ammunition, and you can have different kinds of battery packs basically. And the hot shot battery pack, if memory serves me correctly, is like supercharged. So you end up with less ammo, but more damage per shot. Again, if memory serves me correctly. On the tabletop, I believe there are additional negatives to using a hot shot variant. And I do believe the original rulebook had hotshot as a setting you could switch to, or is that the new rules? Because the second edition Dark Heresy versus first edition Dark Heresy, Rogue Trader never got an additional edition, so I can't remember. But nonetheless, just wanted to explain what hotshot actually meant there, and we have these multi-keys as well. I'm going to go ahead and take a multi-key. I wish I could compare the weapons to other people's weapons. Can I? If I select Abelard? I can. Okay, excellent. The autogun is, of course, a two-handed weapon. Can I not compare to your... what else you're carrying? Oh, the modifier buttons seem to pull it up. Okay. Adira, you're fine. Argenta, you're fine. Cassia, what about you? What about you? 6 to 9. Well, the hotshot lasgun should be quite good, right? 8 to 10. Get the burst. Yeah, sure. You know what? Cassia will use the hotshot lasgun. I think, maybe. But who do we give the autogun to, if anybody? I don't think anybody really has anything to gain from it. Pascal has a much better weapon. Argenta's got her bolter. We're not going to swap that out. We'll take one. The rest will park as cargo. Oh, pack as cargo, sorry. Let's take a look at our inventory, though. And let's make sure Cassia, again, she has her marksman rifle, which is okay. We use this to compare. Autogun is... no, compared to the... come on. Come on, compare to this. 12 to 15, 3 pen. 6 to 9, 1 pen. 8 to 10, 5 pen. 12 to 15. I mean, again, we can swap it down over here, right? It's a two-handed weapon. It's a different kind of weapon, but it allows us for the burst fire of, what, 4 shots. And then if we use our strategist's abilities, we add more shots to the burst fire. I think it's a worthwhile investment. Sure. We'll try it out. We'll try it out. Separately, I do want to check, actually, our colony situation. Where are we? Character, cargo management? No, I'm looking for my... Can I not see it from here? Maybe not. Because I wanted to see what was going on with our upgrades. I guess we can only see that when we're traveling out and about. That makes sense. Fair enough. Because, you know, not much time progresses when we are planet side. So that's fine. That makes sense enough. The most effective representatives of local flora are assembled into the flower bed. Unfamiliar fruits are ripening on the carefully pruned plants. You know what? As we engage in this conversation, we've had talk of toxic flora and fauna that aren't being taken care of. We've had conversation about people being changed in the hidden secret rooms, being defiled, and we're seeing all these strange plants. Maybe it is Nurgle. Maybe. Again, I could be jumping to conclusions here. I don't want to, but some Nurgle vibes potentially. Nonetheless, what's going on over here? A hulking man dressed in a uniform, marking him out as an officer of the gubernatorial guard, is closely monitoring his subordinates as they surround the building. Sensing your approach, he whips around, his face going pale, and he offers a low bow. Your lordship, please do not stray too close to the building. One of the terrorists from today's attack has holed himself up in there. He could be dangerous. What's going on here? Ready to report, your lordship. We conducted a sweep of the area after the attack. All of the assassins were arrested or neutralized except for one. The officer scowls darkly. He sealed himself inside. He already injured 2 guards who tried to reach him, but there's no need to worry. We'll poison him and clear the last dregs of dirt from the estate. I have only one question, officer. Why have you not already done it? The rogue trader is here, and the longer you delay, the more you put his life needlessly at risk. The officer flinches slightly at Abelard's snarl. It is inexcusable, your lordship. The barrels of poison were only just delivered, but we're ready to begin now. Okay, hang on. You're going to poison the rebel. The officer nods. We're using insecticide from our stockpiles, your lordship. We don't have any military-grade poisons, but we don't need them. Not for this parasite. Well, who is he? The officer's brow furrows. To tell the truth, your lordship, I'm more concerned with clearing the area right now than with his identity. We're not expecting to get any valuable intel from him, unless we find something on his corpse after we've done our job. Well, what's so special about this building? Why is he holed up here? It's one of the utility buildings. Fortunately, it was empty at the time of the attack. There were no potential hostages or innocent people inside. If you ask me, I think this was the first place the killer came to when he was beating his retreat. We managed to round up all the others, but this one holed himself up in there. This is not an empty utility building, but an active backup crypt for storing refrigerant and freezing equipment. This is obvious. Your ignorance is depressing, servant. Sorry. I think I want to talk to the person inside. Again, there is clearly a lot more going on than first met the eye. I want to talk to the person inside. Are you sure? It's not exactly safe, your lordship. The officer's eyes involuntarily sweep over you, sizing you up. I could say, alright, fine, I'll take a look around after you've finished up. I could say, you dare to question me, out of my way. Or I could say, I want to solve this problem without too much blood or fuss. No, this isn't about blood or fuss. This is about you questioning my authority right now. Yes, I thought I made my intents clear. You dare to question me? Out of my way. The officer seems to remember himself and offers another low bow. Forgive me, your lordship. Act as you see fit. At the officer's signal, the other guards take a deferential step back, clearing your path to the door. Alright, I'm glad I came down here, because I almost walked right past it to go up to here, I think. But no, looks like there's definitely something up over here. Is there something? I thought I saw something to investigate up over here first. Didn't we already pick everything up over here? There's something up over here, I guess. What did I miss? What did I miss? Let's go ahead and take a look. Ah, I missed this. Then we'll go through the door. Just in case this has some value, we got a las pistol over here. Nothing special. Frag grenade. Don't mind if I do. Thank you very much. Everything else pack as cargo. All right. Let's make our way inside this building and see what's going on over here before they gas this joint. Let's check it out. When you approach the solid-looking door, a high, boyish voice shouts, "Piss off! You won't take me alive. Better to put a bullet in my brain than let the governor's dogs get their hands on me. I can try coercion. I am rogue trader and sovereign of this planet. In the name of the Emperor, open this door." I could use my awareness to examine the door, my strength to break it down, my tech use to pick the lock. Or I can address the officer, telling him I'm done, and he can go ahead with a clearance operation. What are our chances of success here? It says chance 100%. Our coercion is currently at 75, I assume. Let's take a look at our character sheet. Can I? I can't. God damn it. I believe our coercion is at 75. Minus 10 takes us down to 65. It's not 100% chance of success. So the math on this is clearly not working. Awareness is at 60. Right, so that's not great. Strength is at 45. That's really not great. Tech use is at 85. We could pick the lock. We could pick the lock. We could pick the lock. Or I could try coercion. I'm trying to figure out what's most in character. Most likely to succeed is Pascal's tech use over here. 85% chance of success. 65% is not that great, but I think it is more in character. I am rogue trader. Rogue trader and sovereign of this planet. In the name of the Emperor, open this door. Failed. Do you think I'm an idiot? Take your lies and choke on them. You and your damn mistress. Excuse me? Alright. Pascal, pick the lock. Get this done. Succeeded. It takes you half a minute to figure out the archaic mechanism. With a soft click, the door opens, allowing you to enter. Inside is poorly lit, but you spot a person standing in the far corner. He is desperately gripping a discharged lasgun in his hands. At the sight of you, his eyes widen in recognition and fear. It can't be. The rogue trader. Oh, down on his knees. What do we have here? The young man, practically a boy, falls to his knees and stretches out his bloody hands towards you. His clothes are burned on one side and grimy with baked-in blood. Your lordship, have mercy. You are the sovereign of this planet. Only you have the power to save us. Youth is a time of recklessness. I heard that said more than once in the Schola Progenium and during my novitiate. But youth is also a time of directness. Let us listen to this young man before we judge him. Save you from what? From Governor Viat. Everybody here knows what she's doing to us. We've put up with it for a long time, hoping that somebody would intervene and help us, but nobody ever did. She turned the whole world into a slaughterhouse. People are rounded up like groks from the settlements, supposedly to go to the palace, and they're never seen again. Her servants pour something over the fields, and then people lose their minds. They start hearing voices and seeing evil spirits, and while we're dying, she's sitting behind her white walls and feasting on our bones. Oh, yeah, you're telling me people are seeing evil spirits? Yes. Others are going feral and attacking their loved ones, and then there's... The boy lowers his voice. People say that in some settlements, well, they've stopped upholding the law altogether. Imperial law and the law of basic human decency. People are literally turning into animals. Who is behind the rebels? He swallows nervously and looks at you with fear. Your lordship, I beg you, don't ask me that. I can't sell out my brethren. It's over for me, but the others? I won't betray them. So I can try to persuade him. There will be no end to the war on this planet until I get a handle on the situation. But to do that, I need to meet with your leader. Or I can try to coerce him. Tell me, or I'll tear this world apart to get rid of garbage like you and your brethren. I can give him an easy death. The people waiting outside will put you through far worse torment than I will. Goodbye. I could execute him, which is, I guess, a little bit more harsh. And I can call him out for rebelling against a vassal of the Imperium. I suppose I could try to persuade him. That's a decent chance of success. I think it's worth trying. There will be no end to the war on this planet until I get a handle on the situation. But to do that, I need to meet your leader. Succeeded. The boy hesitates for a few seconds, and then his head drops limply. As long as you keep your word. I've never been in their camp. None of us have. Only the chief saw one person from their base. He came a few times, bringing weapons and orders. He said he represented a greater force than we could imagine, and he said that the governor's dogs will pay for the reprisals in the settlements. But that's not where they're hidden. They keep their distance from ordinary folks. We have it all worked out so that if anyone gets caught, the others aren't caught with them. But I swiped the chief's Vox. I thought, after I killed the governor, I could use the message coordinates to find the base and hide out there. The boy retrieves a Vox from his pocket and holds it out to you with a shaking hand. That's everything I know, your lordship. I can say, get up and come with me. I give you my word as a rogue trader you will live. And give him an easy death, or I could execute him. Look, listen. This governor has fallen out of favor very quickly. First, I thought she was doing well. Then I found out that she's potentially, collecting people to do God knows what with. Her servants are coming out changed. She's employing Xenos. Not just mutants, which is bad enough, but no, Xenos. She is failing to pay her tithe. There's trouble here. There's trouble here. And I like how this game has switched me from being in support of the governor to, not. Get up and come with me. I give you my word as a rogue trader, you will live. The rebel looks at you in bewilderment, and then bows low before you. When he speaks, his voice trembles. Your lordship, thank you for this kindness. I never thought I'd survive this. Let's see if he does. The officer of the guard casts a disdainful look over the rebel before turning his gaze on you. Your lordship, I honor your bravery. Please allow me to get rid of this rat for you. I say this man is now under my protection. See to it that he is held safely in custody until his fate is decided. I can say escort this man safely to the perimeter of the estate. He is free to go. I can say this man will serve Yanis yet. Consult your advisors and see to it that this rebel is made into a useful servitor. God. Dark, or rid Yanis of this scum. No. No. It's between 1 and 2, but I'm not sure if he's safer out and about, or if he's safer in custody under my protection. I'm not 100% sure. Because again, if we keep him under my protection, but he's kept here, and they do something to him, they could always ask for forgiveness rather than permission, right? Oh, he was acting up, so we killed him. I'm sorry, your lordship. As opposed to if we let him leave the estate, he might be able to escape to somewhere where he'll actually be safe, where he can't be found. So fine. Escort this man safely to the perimeter of the estate. He is free to go. A dumbfounded expression appears on the officer's face. With the deepest respect, your lordship. The officer thinks better of his next words and abruptly bows. It will be done. Thank you, your lordship. Without your patronage, I would already be dead. Okay, for a second there, I was concerned that he was about to be dead. But no, he's been taken out. There are a few more goods to pick up over here. Let's use that upgraded tech use. Excellent. Get Enforcer Carapace, which is actually not bad, and the multi-keys as well. Let's go ahead and collect them all. Let's make our way out to the estate once more, and let's go ahead and see where we're headed next. I suppose up over here, and eventually away from the estate, I imagine. Or do we have to take the ship to do so? Either way, we'll find out next time, folks. This is where we're calling it a session. I hope you enjoyed this one. Quite a few revelations that I can't wait to dig deeper into. This is a very interesting turn of events, and I'm very curious to see exactly where things on Yanis go. Again, folks, as you've been enjoying this series, please don't hesitate to leave a like and a comment down below. And again, if you've been really enjoying the series, you might want to consider again becoming a channel member or patron, or perhaps leaving a super thanks down below instead. As always, on that note, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.